Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of CampusCare EdTalks. EdTalks is a platform where educators and leaders come on board and express their viewpoints related to education and society. A topic for the day is open book exams, pros, cons, and challenges. And to express their views on the same, we have with us Mrs. Sneha ma'am, Principal of Freedom International School, Bangalore. A very warm welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Good evening, Mehak,
Good evening,
and
ma'am.
everyone out there. A very pleasant good evening from Bangalore.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure to have you here, ma'am.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you.
So, ma'am, let's start off with the session now, shall we?
Yes, please.
So, ma'am, firstly, do you support the OBE examination and do you think teachers can really evaluate a student performance based on the same?
I think open book tests, OBs, are perfectly an excellent way of assessing children. Mainly because it goes beyond just memorizing and recalling facts. So definitely a good system. That being said, when we bring it in, the first, I think, in a country like ours where we have such diverse groups of students, educators, all over, it's very important to train them. So to be able to impart that adequate training for stakeholders, because an important aspect of open book tests is how the questions are formatted. So how you ask
Yes,
the
ma'am.
questions. So teachers, educators need adequate training there. So once that is done, definitely excellent way of testing children for children. Definitely, that takes the pressure of assessments off them. It's an excellent way of assessing students.
Thank you so much, Sneha ma'am. Moving forward, ma'am, do you think the open book examination with the conventional mode of education, student do fear to study, but with the same, the open book examination, student can look for answers and affect their memory training. And do you think open book examination has more, cons than its benefits?
Uh, it's very hard to actually say it's got more cons or, cons like that in terms of, I get what you're saying about memorizing. Especially when there's a lot of talk now with, say, mobiles, because mobiles have come and it's very easy to dial somebody's number. And maybe not you, but when we were younger, we knew, our immediate family members, everybody's numbers by heart. So all we did was pick the receiver and dial or, press those
Yes, ma'am.
digits and call them. But now I think maybe barring say two or three numbers, we are hard pressed to even recall those 10-digit numbers to contact. So yes, definitely, I think some aspects of memory, memorization, at least I think we kind of take a backseat. But then if you look at the way we're moving forward with times, there's so much information available today to us at our fingertips, which wasn't there earlier. Earlier, you didn't have Google, you didn't have access to the internet. You had to go to the library. So there was data that you needed to keep, ready, memorized, available for recall. That's not the case now. So I think in terms of saying memory, I think I'd stay clear of committing. But other than that, OBs are definitely better for children because one, it takes away from just memorizing. Right now, if you see, if you see CBSE, there's been a drastic change in the way we assess children. There are a lot of application-based questions, things like that. We are actually opening out, but open book tests are another level. It takes that pressure off, from children for memorizing or just recalling facts, and it brings the focus to how much they've understood. Have they understood a theory? Have they understood the concept and how much they can apply? So definitely, I think it's good. And in terms of, I feel retention. Once children understand something, they are able to apply it anywhere. And like we say, life does not come with textbooks. So once you've learned that skill, critical analysis and application, you can just, it just works everywhere in life. Otherwise, presently, if you see most of our graduates, once you've graduated or you're in the field looking for a job, they feel that they're not adequately trained. They don't know what the market demands, what they're taught in school, whether it's engineering or any other aspect. And once they come out, they have to relearn a lot of things. So that, I think, it will take that pressure off. Definitely take that off.
Thank you so much, Sneha ma'am. That was really a beautiful explained answer by you. Moving forward, ma'am, you have conducted a lot of OBE exams till now. So, what are the challenges that you face during conducting the same, ma'am?
Uh, Honestly, we haven't really conducted that many OBs in school, other than maybe, in terms of small assessments in class. But one of the key things would be, first and foremost, would be the kind of questions that are being asked, because teachers are so used to asking, say, a define or a standard question where they can just, pick it from the text as is and write. So that, kind of takes away the importance of OBE. Instead, if you've asked, if children have understood and you give them, say, case studies, or you give them where they need to apply certain laws they've learned, or in science, or say in social science, it's certain world war scenarios they've studied. So there, then the child is actually looking at it, going back to what they've revised, and then saying, okay, it's so and so topic, or this is what I've covered. So pick up key points that they need, but they then formulate and write on their own. So it basically helps them to analyze, put their thoughts in order. So basically organize themselves and then put it down. So very, very important that they learn to do that, and to do that effectively. So that kind of training that children need, that we need to work with. So that's something. Time. Children lose track of time. So some of the challenges are they get so carried away because they have the book and they just want to put everything there. So organizing and being effective. So these are some of the key challenges, the kind of questions, time, and what kind of resource material they're using. So that is important. I think those are the important challenges when it comes to open book exams.
Thank you so much, Sneha ma'am. Moving forward, ma'am, to what extent do you think is learning affected by the OBE exams?
I don't think learning is affected at all. Definitely no, because there's definitely an improvement in learning when it comes to OBEs. So definitely no loss or any effect like that. But it is it what it really does is key skills that it imparts to children to find relevant information, to understand it, to analyze, apply, and to think critically. So these are the important skills that it pushes the child for, which is absolutely necessary for children today. And one of the key, I think what I should mention here is, a lot of people, as a layman, you might think, you've got the book. So what is there to study? You can just take the book and go, you look and write. But it doesn't work like that. If you don't know the concept, if you haven't understood that entire topic, you will not know where to find the answer. During that, 40 or 50-minute or 1 hour exam, you're going to be just flipping your pages, trying to find out, where is this question from? Where does the answer, where am I going to find the answer? So that concept that if you have the book, you're not going to study is absolutely wrong. Open book exams are most effective because you know the basic concept. What it really helps you is to bring your thoughts together, and certain facts that you really don't need to memorize, especially in today's day and age, what you can get, like, definition. One of the key things I think here is, when you watch the Three Idiots, the movie, and when the professor asks him for a definition, and you have Amir Khan giving an explanation for what is a machine, and I forget the other actor, but where he gives you your standard textbook memorized answer.
Yeah.
It's a perfect example, because that memorization is not helping him at all. He hasn't understood what a machine is, even though he's able to reproduce what, that perfect definition. So I think that's one of the key factors when it comes to OBE, to understand rather than memorize. So important skills, definitely. So it's an excellent assessment tool.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Sneha ma'am. That was a really well explained answer by you. Lastly, ma'am, do you think should there be any limitations while conducting the open book exams?
Limitations, I think yes. Certain, see, what happens is, I think when you do it at, say, a national level, right now, when you do it at an institute or you're doing it an individual as a school, then the children have, they only have a key set of material with them. I mean, everyone has the same. But when you say go across the country or across the nation and you're doing it, then it's important to have, say, a standardized what are the things you can bring in. So maybe you can bring in, ideally, I think children should be able to carry their own notes, what they've made, because end of the day, that's what they want to refer to, and maybe one or two critical key books that they can carry. But having too much material distracts children. I mean, it's pointless. It takes away from the point of having an exam. So, what material they bring in is important. uh, how much time are you giving children to be able to analyze and put it down? Very important, depending on the questions you've put. So as an educator or a facilitator, how much time will I allot my children to be able to do all of that in a very, very organized manner? That's another key point. And I think yeah, I think material resources, time should be a factor. I think these two are, and the kind of questions we ask should definitely is important. So as like I mean, I've said this before. So it should be clear that children can, the question or case study should be clear that children have one interpretation to it. It cannot be open to aspect can also be considered, this can also be considered, because that ends up confusing children. So as an educator, I need to be very, very clear as to what is the expected answer here. So the questions that are being framed, very important to frame the right kind of questions. So I think other than that, in terms of limitations, I think that those are what I can think of right now. Definitely no direct questions.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, Neha ma'am, again. It was a really
Thank
informative session with you. Thank you so much for taking out your precious
you.
time, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Meg. This is pretty short and sweet. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. And
Have a
for
lovely day.
you too, ma'am. And for all the viewers watching us out, please subscribe to our channel for more stuff like this. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.